An Alabama inmate is due to be put to death today after a federal appeals court said the state is allowed to carry out a first-of-its-kind execution using nitrogen gas. The Supreme Court chose not to hear an appeal in this case, and the condemned man now faces this untested method after a botched attempt to execute him last year by lethal injection. Lilia
What?
Luciano has been following all.
Bro, I feel like, nigga, if you survive the execution, you should live, bro. What? So now they're gonna double back and try to use some crazy ass gas. That's crazy. What did he do? I need to know what he did first. Now, if he messed with some children or did some wild, then I don't give a fuck. But I feel like if you beat the execution, however that happens, whether the shit don't work or you just live through it, they probably should let you go, bro. Like, ain't no redos, bro. I'm gonna do a fucking redo. I don't know.
All this, the case itself. Lilia, good morning.
Good morning to you, Tony. Look, this is a historic execution because it is unprecedented. Kenneth Eugene Smith will be the test subject for this method. His execution is happening 35 years after he was convicted for murder, but only 5 months since the state presented a protocol to use it.
Today, 3 people have been charged with Mrs. Sennett's death.
In 1988, Kenneth Eugene Smith was one of 3 people paid $1,000 in the murder for hire of Elizabeth Dorleen Sennett, a
Wow.
plot engineered by her husband. Smith was sentenced to death. Now Smith is slated to undergo his second attempt of a state execution after Alabama failed the first time by lethal injection in 2022. This
Bro, if they fail, bro, like, my nigga, I need some water, bro. Bro, how they fail and they just gonna run it back? Like, all right, bro.
time, the state will use nitrogen hypoxia, a gas delivered through a mask. In their arguments to the Supreme Court, Smith and his lawyers stated a second attempt at execution would be a violation of his constitutional rights and amount to cruel and unusual punishment. The High Court declined to intervene or give an explanation. In an earlier 2-1 ruling, a federal appeals court had declined to stop the execution, stating in part, there's no doubt that death by nitrogen hypoxia is both new and novel, but that Smith failed to prove how it violates a constitutional ban on cruel and unusual punishment.
That's crazy.
Smith spoke to NPR last December.
I'm still carrying the trauma from the last time. I'm being treated for PTSD, and I struggle daily. Everybody is telling me that I'm going to suffer.
The untested and untried method is the country's newest form of execution since 1982. Alabama is one of 3 states, along with Oklahoma and Mississippi, that allows for the use of nitrogen gas in executions. But Alabama did not have an approved protocol for the method until this past August. According to Alabama's Department of Corrections, Smith will be strapped to a gurney and a mask will be placed on his face. The nitrogen gas will be administered for 15 minutes or 5 minutes following a flatline indication on the EKG, whichever is longer.
If a little bit of nitrogen gas gets out because the mask fit is not perfect, then the time to death will be, of course, prolonged, and so may the suffering.
Joel Zivit is a professor of anesthesiology and surgery at Emory University. He says there are unknown risks for this never-before-seen method, especially for those who will be in the room.
When they're killing people, they really should be knowing how to do it. The nitrogen gas could leak.
He said when they killing people, they that's what I'm like, nigga. That's crazy. They just trying shit, gang.
From the mask. And so whether or not that would be enough nitrogen in the room to actually have an effect on people, it's not clear.
Experts say Alabama is considering this new alternative in part because of its failed track record of executions.
Using executioners who have basically no training in what they're supposed to do and a protocol, then you end up having very serious problems. Hanging, lethal gas, electrocution, lethal injection. This road has led to Alabama using nitrogen hypoxia.
Deborah Deno is a professor of law at Fordham University who has studied the death penalty for over 30 years.
Kenneth Smith is definitely a guinea pig. I mean, he's going to be subject to a method of execution, which, as far as we know, has never been used in the history of the world.
And Alabama and other states are starting
What do y'all think, bro? Y'all think that, like, I need to know because honestly, I felt like, okay, so he killed the lady, murder for hire. So he took a hit, basically, for $1,000, 1988. Shit, he did like 30 some years. He did like, what's that? 35 years ago, they said. And he survived the lethal injection. Get that nigga time served and put him on probation. You feel me? Put that nigga on close monitored probation or something like that. And but he deserved, yeah. I don't think they should. Then definitely not trying some new shit. What if he surviving his fucking? He get deformed or something. I don't know. I'm just saying. He survived the first one, bro. So come on now, like unless he's superhuman, nigga. Like I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let's get back into it.
To explore other options since those who administer the executions have been reporting having trouble finding veins and other issues like happened in this case, which they say could lead to a prolonged and painful and traumatic experience. And states like Alabama have also reported shortages in the drugs that are used for the procedure since many pharmaceutical companies have opposed that their medications be used in these executions or have even stopped manufacturing them together. CBS News has reached out to Smith's attorney regarding today's execution, but he had no comment.
Look, I mean, when you're talking about the execution of anybody, the details are going to be hard
That's
to listen
crazy.
to.
They
But,
are
you know,
hard to
we'll see how this works out.
It's historic.
What you mean it's gonna work out? They said they denied it.
We'll see how it
State
goes.
feels it needs to go through with it, clearly.
Yeah, Lily.
Yeah, nigga, it ain't no. I didn't hear nothing about it's being halted. You got me ready to search up Alabama news, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. This shit crazy. Like, come notification, but I'm gone. Yeah.